Here we go. Let me just put that and present. All right, everyone. So today we're going to be talking about the letter I. Last week we did something really fun with brands, and that's sort of what we're going to be looking forward to henceforth. But for right now, I figured it would be really important to talk about this letter. We've already done A, E, and I believe that's it. But I'm really excited to talk about this letter, so let's just jump right in. So we've got 4 types of I. One sounds exactly like the letter I. The other is I. The third one is E, and the fourth one is A. So let's start off with the I, just like your eye. The first one is ion or ionic. That's our first word. This is a chemistry word, so you won't come across it very often in just normal conversation. But, hold on, let me just add someone in. Okay, this is a chemistry word, so you won't come across it in normal conversation, but it is a pretty interesting word, and I think it's a pretty fun word. So I added it in here so that we can talk about it. Hello. Okay, jumping back in. Yes. Okay, so this one is ion. Now we're gonna mash those together. You see how when I go ion, they have a sort of rigidity to them? It's like you've got one block and then you've got another block. But how do we push them together so that they're smooth? We're gonna add a little Y-like sound in the middle of that O, and the I and the on sounds, so that we kind of push them together, we bring them together. In chemistry, a solution is more soluble when you put heat to it, right? So this is like adding the heat to the word to bring it together. Ion, kind of like I'm yawning, ion. Does anyone want to try it?
Ion.
Yes.
Perfect.
Ionic.
Uh-huh.
Ionic.
Uh-huh. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. You guys are doing really well with this one. I know it's a tricky one, just because in general, I see a lot of students who struggle to bring 2 sounds together in a fluid manner. So I thought I'd throw this one in as a little test, and you all passed. You guys did a great job. Here we go. Our next one is ivy. Ivy. I don't know if you guys are familiar with ivy, but we have it here in the United States. It can be poisonous, so yeah. But I think it takes place, I think you can see it in a lot of names too. I think a famous celebrity has named their daughter Blue Ivy, which I think is a really cool name. But ivy, you may come across it if you're planning on moving to the States, or you may come across it in India, who knows? Ivy. Does anyone want to try it?
Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
Ivy.
Yeah, good. You guys are doing a fantastic job with that V sound. I'm probably going to do a lesson going forward with the differences between a V and a W, because generally our Indian languages tend to soften the V and harshen the W. So I think that would be a really fun one, but you guys did a great job with ivy. This next one is ice. I'm sure you're familiar with it. Super easy, ice. We all use it in our vocabulary, but I wanted you to have a sort of base point for how the I sound should go. So does anyone want to pronounce ice?
Ice.
Mm-hmm.
Ice.
Mm-hmm.
Ice.
Yeah, great. Okay, let's hop on over. This next one is tired. Tired. I normally don't see a lot of confusion regarding that I, But the great thing about these slides is that we're not only learning a single sound in the word. With this word, I think it's really, really important that we make sure that that R and that E, they're in harmony together. Tired. It's sort of, the E kind of merges into the R instead of the other way around. And that's just because English is a weird language. Tired. I'm tired. Does anyone want to try tired?
Tired.
Mm-hmm.
Tired.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you guys so much. This one is idle. So I like this word, especially because of that D. When we've got a really harsh sounding I, we need to remember to soften it on that D sound because we've already used a lot of the breath on that I, and then the rest of the word is just kind of flow. It's just gonna flow. When you've got that strong E-Y-E kind of sound, you're gonna go and relax the rest of the word. Idle. Does anyone want to try it?
Idle.
Mm-hmm.
Idle.
Yep.
Idols.
Perfect.
Idle.
Yeah. Idle. So I really like the way you guys are pronouncing that D, and I want you to hold on to that for future sessions. Really practice the D sound, and we're going to probably do another session on that so that we can perfectly polish off that D sound. This one is I. You're probably familiar with this one, but I do see a lot of people mixing up the I sound and the E sound, which is coming up later. So this one might be for you. Fizzy. I like to keep this one as a reference point. I'm sure a lot of you pronounce this one the same way I am. But also I just wanted to let you know that when you've got an IZ or an IZ, it's always going to sound with an IH sound. Fizzy.
Fizzy.
Yeah.
Fizzy.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. This one's a tricky one. This one's a very, very tricky one because we've also got that tricky E sound. So we'll get into that, but let's focus on the I's first. Si, 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 thick, thick, specific, specific. Now, I do want to let you know that this E is not going to be an EY sound. It's going to be an EH sound. So actually, you've got EH, IH, IH. How nice. Specific. Anyone want to try specific?
Specific.
Perfect.
Specific.
Yeah. Other words are scientific for that eh. And yeah, I think you guys have got this part. It's just the E that's really tricky. Cinema. This one is, again, one of the words that I see is very often mispronounced or choicidly pronounced. Cinema. You're gonna make that A UH sound, the E a UH sound, and the I the IH sound. Cinema. Does anyone want to try cinema?
Cinema.
Yeah, perfect. Accident. Now, we've covered this word in our Sounds of A video, but I do want to bring it up again because that I is kind of perfect. Accident. Not accident, accident. Does anyone want to try?
Accident.
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 You guys are so good. This one is another fun one. Spinach. That A actually takes on an IH quality once again. And we've got another really soft IH. Spinach. Can I hear spinach?
Spinach.
Spinach.
So good. You guys are so good. Yeah. This one is EE. It's the long I sound, as some accent teachers will call it. And it's actually quite simple. The EE sound is just a long E, long I, and you're pretty familiar with it. The only differences I do see in people mixing it up is mixing up the IH sound with the EE sound. So this next section is really just a base point for what the EE sound should be like. Comedic. Comedic. Does anyone want to try comedic?
Comedic.
Comedic. Yeah.
Comedic.
Pizza. 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 Now, I do want to give some clarification for this word. It is based and it's obviously from Italy, so it doesn't follow normal, conventions. In Italy, you normally have the ZZ shortened to a T sound, and we follow that here in America as well. But if you pronounce it as pizza, that is completely fine. That's just because that's how someone who would look at this word would pronounce it. But generally, if you're well versed with the word, or if you're trying to impress an American, it will go pizza. That I is very long. It's an E sound. Pizza, pizza. And yeah, that's really all there is to it. Does anyone want to try pizza?
Pizza. Pizza.
Yeah, that was so good. Ashin, was that you? Could you try that again? That was really good.
Pizza.
You've got it. Anyone else? That was really good.
Pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, let's move on. You guys were so good with that one. That was a really tricky one. Just because it's not generally American or just generally following the English rules. So I'm really proud of you guys. And that's something that I used to say too. I used to say pizza as well. And then I came to the United States and people were like, it's pizza. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But it does, I guess. This next one is UH, and it has a very simple rule. All UH words will end with an IM, or rather, I should switch it. The IM words will always be a UH sound. Generally, the UH sound is really just a softer version of the IH sound. So normally we would pronounce this as victim or victim, really stretching out that I, but really, if we're gonna go for a more international accent, we can pronounce it as victim, victim, victim. That first I actually is an IH sound, and the second I is a U sound, victim.
Victim.
Mm-hmm.
Victim.
Victim.
Yeah. If you have any trouble with this whatsoever, I would recommend watching our the sounds of IM video on YouTube. And if you want the link to the YouTube, I can send it to you, or I'll send it in the chat at the end of the session anyway. Interim. Yeah, I think this is just a really cool word. That's why I added it here. And pilgrim. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining.